Morning, everyone. Today on our automation workthrough, I'm going to be doing a relatively simple automation from a technical standpoint, but actually it's surprisingly useful. I'm very surprised that more people don't have this kind of thing in place. It doesn't take you very long to set up, and it could be useful for anyone in your team who does the kind of face-to-face networking. So it might be that you go to a networking meeting. It might be that you literally have just bumped into someone. It might be something more sort of formal and organized, like you go to a trade show and you want to capture leads or something like that. Basically, let me describe, I'll share my screen and I'll describe how the workflow works. So you've gone to a meeting and you are going to try and capture that information that of the person that you've just met, and you're going to put it into the CRM in the most efficient way that you can. And then you want to actually reach out and start the conversation with these people. The goal is obviously to make this person know, like, and trust you, and you've only just met them. And so you want to be communicating with them over time. And one of the best ways to do that is if you do some sort of regular email to prospects, then you include them on that email. But things like GDPR raises its ugly head, and so people are nervous about doing that. And this is a very nice way of getting around the GDPR issue by sending the person that you've just met a really nice personalized email. So it's an email that very much feels that it's come from you rather than from an email mailing list that they didn't sign up for. And it sets the groundwork to them becoming a regular receiver of your communication. So what we're going to do is, firstly, we're going to obviously meet the person. And so once we've done that, we need to have a page that you can go to so that you can enter that information in the CRM. Now, you could do it directly into the CRM, but actually, if you're going to give it to members of your team and you don't want them necessarily having access to the CRM, then and some CRMs that you buy, you actually have to pay by seat, so it can be costly to have people having access. Then it's very easy to just set up a simple page for capturing. So we have a page for capturing the data, and this page will obviously need two things. It will need the page itself. It will also need some sort of form, so a CRM form. Now, again, CRMs are all different. And so some CRMs have the ability to create forms and pages within them. If you're using a CRM that doesn't have that ability, then you just have to work out how you might do any other form that you might have on your website that's going into the CRM. So let's say you've got a CRM that's got a Zapier connection. You might have a form plugin on your website, and you can build a landing page there, and then you can connect the form builder on the website with your CRM via Zapier. The CRM that I'm going to be showing you this on is High Level, and High Level has all of that built in, so we won't have to use anything else apart from High Level, which just makes things a lot simpler. And then so that obviously goes into the CRM, and then once it's in the CRM, that's going to trigger an automation to send introductory email. So that's what we're going to attempt to achieve. So we have a landing page where someone can go to enter in the data. In that page, there's a form, and once the data is submitted, it goes into the CRM, and at that point, it triggers an automation to send an introductory email. So hopefully it'll all come to life once you actually see this introductory email. You'll see what the purpose of this is. So let's switch to our CRM and let's start. Firstly, we need to create this form because we can't embed that into a page until we've done that. So if we go, this is high level. So it's got built-in forms. So we can add a form. So this is a form builder. So it's already got first name, last name, phone number, and email. And these fields are mapped to the CRM fields. So if again you were using something outside of the CRM, then subsequently you'd have to use Zapier to map these fields to where you want them to be put. But because we're doing it inside the CRM, that's the benefit, is that we've got these standard fields that are within the CRM. And within high level, you can also have custom fields. And so we can embed any custom fields that we've created as well. So I'm in a sort of a blank test CRM here. So there's nothing set up, but it will show you how we go about doing it. So let's think about, we've just met this person. So what information might we want to capture? I mean, these are, in my view, an absolute given. You've obviously got to have that. We don't need this consent because it's us that's actually going to be filling this in. Nobody apart from us is going to be doing it. So I'm going to delete that. Under general settings, I'm going to switch this form type to 2 columns just because it makes for a smaller and neater form. So other things that we might want to capture about this person. Let's have a quick look. So we might want their address. Not so necessary these days, but you know, if you've got the address, you might want to capture it. It's quite nice to be able to send something through the post. So I'll pop that in there, but I'm going to make this not required. So you can see here that this is not required. Interestingly, on this kind of form, you can actually select individually. You know, you could say that the postcode is required, and you could say that the perhaps the county or the country isn't required. And you can also, if you don't want the country because you only deal with the UK, you can also hide fields. So, but for the sake of this, I occasionally meet somebody in a different country, so I'll leave that as it is, but it's not going to be required because often I won't have it. It won't be on the business card. So might want to capture their website. Might want to capture the company name. What other things might we want to capture? So we're going to add some other fields in here. Normally you'd set these up once, so they'd already be here. But the other things we want to capture is we want to capture with the lead source. I find that when you're first starting to use a CRM, it's worth having a text field because you don't really know all of your different lead sources. So it's for an initial period, just use a text field. And then at a certain point, you can just migrate the data across into a drop down so that people can't pick, so that you always get the same text. So, you know, I might do something as networking and somebody else might do something as BNI, for example. And so by using drop downs, you sort of force the person to be more specific about and be consistent across the whole of the CRM. And you can always still have an option of other, and anybody that puts in other, you can start to then try and work out on which lead sources you're actually missing. But for now, we'll just do text. So we're going to put it in, and we're going to put it in lead sources, probably good to be at the top level. So we can pop our lead source in there. What other things might we want to we might want to have a box where we can capture just high level notes about the person. So let's call it personal notes. Now, some people are much more specific. So they have fields for things like hobbies, fields for family, fields for things, so that when they're collating their knowledge of the person, so like you might discover that somebody likes golf, in which case you might offer them to come with you for a game of golf. Or they might like squash, in which case you might offer them a game of squash. So it all depends on, how far you want to go in terms of capturing the personal stuff about a person. And, you have to make your own decision as to what level is appropriate. Because again, this is personal information and you're storing it in a business context. And so, I'm not going to say anything more than GDPR, but you make your own decision. So personal notes, choose we're going to put it in additional info. And we'll pop that one in. And what else might we need? So this is where the sort of magic happens. Because we want to send someone a personal email, something that feels like it's genuinely from us, a great way to do that is to customize the first paragraph of the email that you send them. So if you imagine, let's sort of, let's write out the email here. Dear John, it was great to see you at the bit lunch yesterday. Your trip to Brazil sounds amazing. We must do one-to-one when you get back. I'd love to hear about it. So if you got an email that started with that paragraph, you wouldn't think that was an automated email because clearly it's all about you and me. But then we can go on and say, I just wanted to let you know that I send an occasional email to my list, my contacts, all about AI and automation. If you're okay with if this would be interesting to you, I'd send food list. Now, here you have to make a decision. You can do one of two things. You can either ask for permission to put them on the list. Now, obviously, that's the GDPR correct way of doing it. Or you can ask them to let you know if they don't want to be on the list, which is technically not the correct way to do it, but also isn't overly aggressive because it feels very personal. So if you are a true digital marketer at heart, you'll probably choose the latter option. If you are a true HR and compliance person at heart, you'll probably choose the former. Make your own call. It's just about the language. So let's make an assumption here that we are going to assume that they're interested. And so therefore I would write the language, just let me know if you don't want it. So here we're saying, if you don't tell me that you don't want it, you're going to get it. Now, if you were going to take the other approach, you might have a link in there which says, if you're interested in this, click on this link and it will subscribe you. So you can do it either way. But then you might also have something else. So I also have a free community all based around AI and automation. It has regular training courses and a vibrant and lively if you're interested in this community, you can sign up here. HTTPS // community you put in there whatever your sign up is. Best regards, Jake. So there's our email, and the bit that's customized is that first paragraph. And so what we're going to do is we're going to basically create a field for this first paragraph so that we can write it when it's fresh in our minds. So if we go back to here, we're going to have multi-line just in case. So what we're going to do is you've just got to basically finish this sentence when you're entering the thing. So it was great to see you, and then you add the rest of the paragraph. And when you do that, we will automatically insert that into the email that we're going to send them. So that'll do for our form. We're going to change the color to match something brandish. And there's our form. Now, because this is an internal form, it would actually look fine just like this. There we go. There we go. So we've now got a nice title to our form. And actually, I think that's probably enough for this CRM. If you were building it, so if we go back to our diagram, we've got a page that the form needs to sit in. But for this CRM, we don't need that. But here you can integrate the form into anything that you want. So if you wanted to insert it into another page that you created on your thing, you would go for the inline option, and then you'd copy this embed code, and that would essentially insert the form inside your web page. So you could create a private web page that only you know about, and there's your form. So open form link. Just click on that. So we'll save that, and then we'll have a look at it. So here we've got our form. I've just noticed that we've got down the bottom here privacy policy. Because this isn't a public form, we'll get rid of that. I suppose the one reason for having it in a page is you can get rid of this nasty URL. That's a pretty nasty URL, so quite hard to remember. So I will just briefly show you how you would put it into a page. So there's our thing. Let's go back. We're now going to create a funnel, new funnel from blank. We're going to call it networking. So here's where you would choose your path that you want to get to this thing. So you've already set up a domain, a custom domain inside High Level. And so your path, and that will have been done by whoever set up your High Level for you, because it needs it for everything. So you can give this a nice short path that's easy to remember. So networking is all right, I think, because we'll sort of remember that. We need to add a domain. Settings. So I've already got this domain set up. Pages, it's subdomain, pages.automaticbusiness.co.uk. So path is networking. Life's good. And we're going to, you can use templates, you can import them from existing pages, but we'll just use a blank one. And we have to give it a section first. There's our form. So that's been published. So now you can test the page by clicking on this button here. And here's our form. So now whenever you meet somebody, you can automatically just go, imagine you're just coming home on the train. You could actually go to this page. So pages.automaticbusiness, pages.yourdomain.co.uk/networking. And you could just pull this up on your phone and you could grab the business card that you've done. And while the person that you've met is fresh in your mind, you can enter their information from the business card and put this thing in. So we're going to do that now, just to test that it works. So we're going to call him John Doe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, email John at company.com. Skip the address. Organization is company. Lead source was, I don't know, let's say we went to a entrepreneur circle meeting. Personal notes, John was very nice, seemed to bread. So we're just finishing the sentence here. So it was great to see you at the, what did we say? We met EC meeting in Windsor. Bit loud. So that sounds personal. Again, we need to make sure that we don't put any stuff before or after it, because we're going to take this snippet as it is and put it into the email. So I think that's everything. There we go. So if we now go to contacts, you can see we've got a new person who has been added to our CRM. If we click on him, there we go. So you can see all of the information has all come through. So now we want to set up the automation itself. So we're going to do create workflow. And the trigger is form submitted. So it's always handy to customize this bit, because otherwise it isn't clear which form. So we're going to do networking. And so we don't want it to trigger on all forms. We only want it to trigger on one of them, which is the one we just created. Obviously, I didn't bother to name my form because this is just a test one, but you would name it as something that's meaningful. So when this thing is triggered, it will be triggered, and essentially the contact that is created will be put into here. And so we don't have to worry about creating the contact because they're already done. The form does that. So what we want to do now is we want to maybe tag them. If you wanted to tag them in some way because you, I don't know, you met them face to face or something. And then you want to send them the email. And so the email from name is from Jake. Put your email address in. Subject. And then we can put the message in. And so the message you essentially would go to here. I'm going to change him into the contact first name. This bit here is the bit that we need to pull in from the custom field. All of that is fine. Best regards, Jake. So there's our email done. So again, you can add attachments and things like that. Depends on the CRM as to whether it would allow you to do that. But let's save that. And let's say that you didn't want it to go straight away. So, you know, maybe you might feel it's a bit strange to be, you know, doing it, you know, 10 minutes after you have just met the guy. You might want to put a delay in. So you could await, and we could have a time delay, turn on advanced, and you could get them to wait 1 day. And maybe you don't want to send it at the weekends, up to you. And you could say that you only want to send it 10 a.m, something like that. So it'll wait 1 day. So let's say you went networking at 9 o'clock at night. It will wait 24 hours and then it will send it when it gets to 8 in the morning. So it'll actually go just a bit over a day to get to them. So there we go. So there's our automation. And we haven't switched it on. We ought to. And that's it done. So essentially what's going to happen every time that form is filled out, they'll drop into this thing, they'll wait for a period of time, and then they'll send them this nice introductory email. The tag that we probably want to add to them is to add them to the newsletter. So we want to add So once they get that newsletter tag, obviously each time the newsletter sends, you'll send it to people that have the newsletter tag, so they'll get it. And that is everything. You can also do more extensive things as a follow-up, in that you might want to send them to a whole sequence of emails that they get before they get onto the newsletter. So, for example, you might want to send them to things that are reminding them about the community, or you might want to send them, an offer for a one-to-one. You might want to, wait 2 weeks. Wait 2 weeks. Wait 14 days, and then send them another email saying we should have another one-to-one or something or other. It's totally up to you what you want to do, but all very, very easy to build out from that point. So hope that's been useful, and I will see you all soon.